Hello there, welcome to ShineTech's YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to go through biology paper 1 multiple choice questions, which was written on 9th of August 2022. This question paper carries 40 marks and there are 40 questions which are to be answered in 50 minutes. So the first question reads, which of the following lists contain only non-living things in an environment? Which of the following lists contain only non-living things in an environment? A. Rocks, snails, grass. B. Snails, water, mushroom. C. Soil, trees, worms. And D. Sunlight, water, and soil. So the question is asking to identify which list contains non-living things. So when you look at these multiple choices which have been given here, the only list which contains non-living things is D, where we have sunlight is a non-living thing, water is a non-living thing, and soil is a non-living thing. So the correct answer here is D. A is wrong. Why? Because a snail is a living thing and grass also is a living thing. B is wrong. Why? Because the snail is a living thing and mushroom is a living thing. Here we have trees which are living things and worms are all living things. But non-living things we have sunlight, water, and soil. The correct answer is D. We move on to question 2. So question 2. The diagram shows a light microscope. So this is a light microscope. Okay, so which of the labeled parts moves the objective lenses quickly up and down and brings into focus the image under the low power magnification? Which of the labeled parts moves the objective lenses quickly up and down and brings into focus the image under the low power magnification? So here, to focus the image, you are going to use the adjusting knob, which is A. It is going to move the objective lenses in order to focus the image on the microscope. For B, which is the fine adjusting knob, okay, so that one is for fine focusing. And C, that's the stage where you put your slide for fine focus, where you put your specimen on the slide for fine focusing, to focus the image. And then D allows light from the mirror, which is reflected by the mirror. Okay, so the correct answer here is A. A is going to move the objective lenses very quickly. Okay, correct answer for question 2 is A. We move on to question 3. Question 3. The diagram shows an animal cell. Which of the following components of a cell is not found in the cell? So this is an animal cell. Be specific, it is a sperm cell. Okay, so the question is asking which of the following components of a cell is not found in the cell. A. Cell membrane. B. Chloroplast. C. Cytoplasm. And D. Nucleus. So which component is not found in this animal cell, which is here? So the chloroplast is not found in all animal cells. So chloroplast is found in plant cells, which it helps to attract the sunlight for photosynthesis purposes. So in animal cells, chloroplast is not there, but the cell membrane, cytoplasm, and nucleus are all the components in an animal cell. So the correct answer for question 3 is B. Question 4. The diagram shows the activity of salivary amylase The diagram shows the activity of salivary amylase, pancreatic lipase, and stomach protease at different pH values. Okay, so this is the diagram. It is showing the salivary amylase, pancreatic lipase, and stomach protease at different pH values. So the question reads, from the graph, what is the optimum pH value for the enzyme protease? So for the enzyme stomach protease, what is the optimum pH? So the optimum pH is the pH at which the enzyme works best, okay? At which the enzyme works efficiently at that pH. That pH is considered to be the optimum pH. Now, when you look at this graph here, we have the y-axis showing the enzyme activity and the x-axis showing the pH at which that enzyme is working. So when you look at this, the protease, the stomach protease, okay, so it is working well at very low pH. That is in the stomach, we have acid, so acid is at very low pH. So when you look at it, as the pH increases, the activity of stomach proteases is also reducing. So it works best at very low pH. So the optimum pH for enzyme protease is in between 2 and 3 here. So to be specific, here at 2, the pH there is optimum. That's where the enzyme is working at its best. So the correct answer for question 4 is A. Okay, so the optimum pH value for the enzyme protease is 2. Okay, so 4 is wrong. Why? Because at 3.5 here, you would see that the activity of the enzyme, it is at its very low level there. It is decreasing, but it is optimum. Okay, it is stagnant, optimum at 2 there. At 2, it is optimum. The activity is just at its peak, and it is also optimum. So the correct answer for question 4 is A. We move on to question 5. So question 5 reads, the table shows food tests carried out to investigate the presence of reducing sugars in an apple fruit. Okay, so the table shows food tests carried out to investigate the presence of reducing sugar in apple fruit. So we have the method this side and results or observation at the other side. Okay, so A, the method is Benedict's solution, and the results or observation in the solution turns from blue color to orange. So A, the Benedict solution test, and then the result is the solution turns from blue color to orange. Then B, burette reagent test, and the results are reagent remains blue green in color, and E, emulsifying emulsion test, where the ethanol remains clear and colorless. D, iodine solution test, and the iodine remains yellow in color. So the test here, which shows the presence of reducing sugar, is the Benedict solution test, where the solution turns orange or brick red. So this is the correct answer. Okay, for the test of reducing sugar, you use Benedict solution, and it must turn from blue color to orange. That's the correct answer. Question 6. So question 6 reads, which of the following is a disorder resulting from lack of proteins in a diet of a child? A. Anemia. B. Kwashiorkor. C. Obesity. D. Rickets. So the disorder resulting from lack of proteins here is B. Kwashiorkor is a deficiency disease of proteins. Lack of proteins, the child will suffer from Kwashiorkor. Anemia is lack of iron. Iron is involved in the formation of hemoglobin. So if you lack ions, you are going to suffer from anemia. Then obesity is as a result of fats. Rickets, vitamin D, which is involved in the formation of bones. But for proteins, Kwashiorkor is the deficiency disease. So the correct answer for question 6 is B. Question 7. A pregnant woman was advised at the hospital to eat food containing adequate amounts of iron. What is the importance of iron in the diet of a pregnant woman? A. Formation of hemoglobin for the fetus. B. Formation of proteins for the growth of the fetus. C. Formation of strong bones of the fetus. And D. Regulation of blood pH in the fetus. So this pregnant woman was advised at the hospital to eat foods containing adequate of iron. Okay, as I already said earlier in question 6, iron is involved in formation of hemoglobin. Okay, so the importance of iron is formation of hemoglobin for the fetus. That's why she was advised to eat foods containing adequate amounts of iron. So the correct answer for question 7 is A. So formation of proteins for the growth of the baby. Formation of proteins for the growth of the baby. This is for the proteins themselves. They are involved in the growth of the baby. And then the formation of strong bones. This we can advise to take vitamin D. And regulation of blood pH. These ones you can take certain minerals which are involved in formation of alkaline solutions. But for question 7, iron is involved in formation of hemoglobin. That is A. Okay, so that's the correct answer. Question 8. Question 8 reads, what are the functions of magnesium and nitrogen ions in plants? What are the functions of magnesium and nitrogen ions in plants? A. We have magnesium here and nitrogen there. So the function of magnesium and ion. So A reads formation of amino acid, and B formation of chlorophyll. Or A for magnesium, formation of amino acid, and nitrogen, formation of chlorophyll. B formation of chlorophyll and formation of amino acid, formation of ATP and formation of chlorophyll, formation of nitrates and formation of ATP. So the correct answer for this question is formation of chlorophyll for magnesium and formation of amino acid for nitrogen ions. So nitrogen is involved in formation of proteins, which are the amino acid, and magnesium is involved in the formation of chlorophyll. So the correct answer is B. Question 9. The following is the dental formula of a dog. The following is a dental formula, the dental formula of a dog. So a dog will have 3 incisors on the upper jaw and 3 incisors on the lower jaw. Then it will have canines, 1 canine in the upper jaw and 1 canine in the lower jaw. And here we are going to have premolars, 4 on the upper jaw and 4 on the lower jaw. The molars, a dog has 2 molars on the upper jaw and 3 molars on the lower jaw. So the question continues to say, how many premolars are there in the mouth of this dog? How many premolars are there in the mouth of this dog? A, 4, B, 8, C, 16, D, C, 10, and D, 16. So how many premolars are there? So I have a diagram here. So this diagram shows a jaw of a dog. So in this jaw, we have, it is showing the half lower jaw of a dog. So we are going to have premolars. There are 4 in the lower jaw. There are 4 in the lower jaw, okay, on the other half of the jaw. Now, when you look at the jaw, okay, they are like this. We have 4 this side and 4 that side to make them 8. On the lower jaw, there are 8, okay. So here they're just showing 4 this side. Then on the other side, again, this side, we have 4 to make them 8. That is on the lower jaw. Then on the upper jaw, we have also 8. So if you add 8 plus 8, you are going to have 16. So it has 16 premolars, okay? 16 premolars. That is the correct answer. So the correct answer here is D. D is the correct answer. Move on to question 10. So question 10 reads, the diagram illustrates the movement of a bolus of food through the esophagus. A diagram illustrates the movement of a bolus of food through the esophagus. So this diagram is simply illustrating the movement of a bolus from the mouth through the esophagus there. The question continues to say, the process is referred to as, A, assimilation, B, ingestion, C, ingestion, and D, peristalsis. Okay, so the correct answer here is peristalsis. Peristalsis is simply the movement of food from the mouth to the stomach. It involves contraction and relaxation of longitudinal and circular muscles. So in the esophagus, we have longitudinal muscles. And we also have circular muscles. So the muscles behind the bolus are going to contract, and the muscles in front of the bolus are going to relax. That's what we call peristalsis. Okay, so the correct answer here is D, peristalsis. Assimilation, this is involved now in the use of the nutrients. They are assimilated, that is they are used now in the body. Then ingestion is simply the insertion of food in the mouth. Ingestion is elimination of the waste products from the GI, from the alimentary canal. We move on to question 11. Question 11. Which of the following is not an effect of an ailment of the lung, of the liver? Okay, so which of the following is not an effect of an ailment of the liver? A, high blood sugar, B, low blood pressure, C, low toxin levels in the blood, and D, poor bowel formation. So an ailment, okay, a disease which can result as an effect of the liver. We have a defect in the liver. What will result is poor bowel formation. Remember, bowel is formed in the liver. So if the liver has a problem, we are going to have poor bowel formation. So that is an ailment of the liver. The correct answer here is D. High blood sugar, this is observed where now the pancreas is not working well. We know the pancreas produces what we call insulin, which is a hormone involved in control of blood sugar. Okay, and low blood pressure, this is observed in the heart and blood vessels. If the heart is not pumping, is pumping the blood at higher speed, we are going to have high blood pressure. So if it is low blood pressure, meaning we can have the heart is pumping the blood at very low pressure, or it can be a fault in the blood vessels themselves that can cause low blood pressure. Then low toxin levels in the blood, that is to do with the kidney. The kidney is involved in excretion of toxins. So an ailment of the liver is poor bowel formation. The correct answer is D. Question 12. Which of the following occur during inhalation in fish? A, so we have the operculum. Operculum is going to close here in A, and B, we have pressure inside the mouth, and we also have this column which shows flow of the mouth. Okay, so we have the operculum and pressure inside the mouth and flow of the mouth. So under these columns, what will happen during inhalation? That's the question. What happens to the operculum? What happens to the pressure inside the mouth? And what happens to the flow of the mouth? Okay, so during inhalation in fish, what happens? So I have a diagram here which shows the processes which takes place during inhalation in fish. So during inhalation, the mouth is going to open, okay, and the operculum is this part which covers the gills, so it is going to close. The flow in the mouth is going to increase here because the water is coming in, is getting inside the fish, so the flow, we expect it to increase. And then from there, the operculum is going to close. So when this part is closing and the water is coming in, what will happen to the pressure? The pressure must increase. The pressure must increase inside there. So what is the correct answer here? So A is saying the operculum is going to close. Yeah, that is correct. It takes place during inhalation. Pressure inside the mouth is going to reduce. No, the pressure should increase. So the correct answer here is B. The operculum is going to close. Yes, we have seen it is going to close. Pressure inside the mouth is going to increase. Why? The water is getting inside the mouth, so the pressure is going to increase. And then the flow of the mouth is going to be lowered. The flow of the mouth is going to be lowered. So the correct answer here is B. The operculum is going to close. The pressure inside the mouth is going to increase because we have flow of water inside there, and the flow of the mouth is going to be lowered. Question 12, correct answer is B. Question 13. The following apparatus was set up to investigate one of the products of respiration. So remember this word, respiration. So this was set to investigate one of the products of respiration. Okay, so we have air here. Then in the first flask, we have solution, an aqueous solution of sodium hydroxide. And then from there, in the second flask, we have lime water. And in the third flask, we have a green plant there. And in the last one, we have lime water as well. Okay, so the question is saying, what would happen to the lime water in flasks X and Y when the pump is switched on? What will happen in lime water of X and Y? Flask X is in A is saying it becomes cloudy, and flask Y becomes cloudy as well, and B, it becomes cloudy in X and stays clear in Y. C stays clear in X and becomes cloudy in Y, and D, it says it stays clear in X and it stays clear in Y. So let's first explain, we see what is happening here. So we have sodium hydroxide. As air is pumped into this solution, what will happen is that the carbon dioxide which is in that air is going to react with sodium hydroxide, forming sodium carbonate, something like that. Okay, so it is going to react with carbon dioxide. So this sodium hydroxide is going to remove that carbon dioxide in that air. So what will happen is that the lime water in here, the air from this flask, as it comes here, the carbon dioxide won't be there. the carbon dioxide will not be there. So the lime water in here will stay clear. Okay, so lime water is used to check if the carbon dioxide is there or not. So if carbon dioxide is there, then the lime water will turn cloudy. If carbon dioxide is not there, then the lime water will stay the same. So since carbon dioxide has reacted with sodium hydroxide there, here we do not expect any change. The lime water will be clear. Then from there, that air is going to come into the third flask where we have a green plant. So a green plant is going to react, is going to get the oxygen which is in that air. Then that oxygen is going to be used during respiration, okay, in plants. So during respiration, what will happen is that oxygen is going to react there, and the product is going to be carbon dioxide. So we are expecting release of carbon dioxide by the plant, which now will turn this lime water in Y cloudy. So here it is clear, there it will be cloudy. Why? Because carbon dioxide here is produced, and then when it is being produced, it is going to react with this lime water and turn it cloudy. But here it is going to remain clear. Why? Because sodium hydroxide here has reacted with that carbon dioxide from the air. So here it is clear, there it is going to turn cloudy. So the correct answer here, X stays clear and Y becomes cloudy. So the correct answer is C for question 13. Question 14. Which of the following are symptoms of a disease? A, body weight loss, toothache, headache. B, coughing, body weight loss, diarrhea. C, we have diarrhea, vomiting, high temperature. And D, headache, toothache, high body temperature. So the correct answer here, the symptoms of a disease are diarrhea, vomiting, and high body temperature. Those are the symptoms. They are the symptoms of a disease. Coughing can be as a result of a reflex. As a reflex from the respiratory tract can cause coughing. Okay, and body weight loss doesn't mean that when someone is losing weight, then there is a disease. No. Okay, that's why this one is wrong. And then body weight loss, we have already disqualified it. Why? Because sometimes a normal person without a disease can lose weight. Toothache as well can be a sign of a disease in some way, but mostly toothache can be as a result of other things. So the correct answer for question 14 is C. Diarrhea, vomiting, and high body temperature are the symptoms of a disease. Most of the time, they are observed when someone has a disease. Correct answer is C. Question 15. The diagram shows cross section of a stem and root of a plant. We have, this is a stem and that is a root of a plant. So which of the following correct identifies the parts of the plant? Which of the following correctly identifies the parts of the plant? So we have A, X dicot stem and dicot roots. B, dicot root and dicot stem in Y, and C, monocot root, monocot stem, monocot stem, monocot root. So let's first identify these cross sections. So they are saying of a stem and of a root. So in a dicot root and stem, you are going to observe these structures which are here. So this is in a root of a dicot plant. So a cross section in a root of a dicot plant, we are going to observe a xylem which is star shaped. Okay, a xylem will be star shaped to have a cross section of a root, and then we have a star inside there in a root. Then that is a dicot root. And the phloem is going to be in those corners of the star. That's where the phloem is going to be in a dicot root. Now in a monocot root, we're going to observe these structures here. You are going to to have a structure with the xylem and phloem arranged in the same manner. Like we are going to have the phloem first, like here in blue is the phloem followed by the xylem there, okay, which are attached to the structure which is called the pericycle. This is the pericycle. Then we have going to have the phloem followed by the xylem. That is in the monocot root. But in the dicot root, we are going to have a star xylem, and the phloem is going to be in those angles of the star. That's where we are going to have the phloem. Then in the stem, what are the structures which are observed? In the stem, we are going to have all the xylem and phloem attached together and scattered all over the stem. The structure of the stem are scattered there. That is the xylem and the phloem in a monocot. But in a dicot, they are arranged in a special manner where we have the cambium, which is a layer which separates the xylem from the phloem. So the phloem will start first, and inside there, inside the pith, we have the xylem. So when we come back to our question here, we have a star shaped here in the root. So a star shaped in the root is a dicot. So Y is a dicot. Then in the stem, where we have the xylem first and the phloem first, followed by the xylem inside and separated by the cambium, is also in the dicot. So the correct answer is dicot in the stem and dicot in the root. Why? Because the root is going to have a star-shaped xylem, as we can see, that is in the dicot here in this diagram. Then in the stem as well, we have a special arrangement where we have the phloem first, followed by the xylem, separated by the cambium there. So this is dicot. But for monocots, we have the xylem and the phloem scattered all over the stem, the thickness of the stem. So the correct answer here is A. A is the correct answer. We move on to question 16. So question 16, the diagrams show some components of blood. So these are the components of blood. Okay. Then what are the function of these components of blood? So this is a red blood cell. It doesn't have a nucleus and it is circular in shape. This is a white blood cell with a lobulated nucleus, and this is a platelet. So we know the red blood cell is involved in the transportation of oxygen. This one is involved in defense of the body by engulfing bacteria, foreign particles. This one is going to engulf. Let's say we have a particle here, so it is going to come and engulf that particle using its lobulated nucleus. So that is what it does, it engulfs. Then the platelets are involved in clotting formation. It involves in clot formation. If you have a cut on your body, what will happen is that the platelets are going to aggregate here to close, okay, that cut, so that the blood inside won't be to reduce the blood loss. Those are the functions of those components. Now let's see the options which we have here. So this is P, the red blood cell, Q, the white blood cell, R is the platelet. So for P, we're expecting oxygen transportation. So we have oxygen transportation there. Then Q, it engulfs pathogens, And then R, it is involved in clotting of blood. So the correct answer is D. Red blood cell it transports oxygen. White blood cell, it engulfs bacteria. Then clotting of blood is in platelets. So the correct answer is D. We move on to question 18. So question 18. The diagram shows the structure of a kidney. So this is a structure of a kidney, a nephron to be specific. So which of these collectively identifies where ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and osmoregulation occur? So which of these labeled parts shows where ultrafiltration, reabsorption, and osmoregulation takes place. So we have options here. Okay, so A, they are saying ultrafiltration takes place in X, and then reabsorption in Y, and osmoregulation in Z. So let's see what is happening here. So this is the glomerulus there. That's where ultrafiltration takes place. So in X, we're expecting ultrafiltration. In Y, here, which is the descending loop of Henle, there we have reabsorption. Reabsorption in the loop of Henle. There we have reabsorption in Y. Then in Z, Z is pointing here close to the collecting duct where osmoregulation takes place. So osmoregulation, reabsorption, and ultrafiltration in X. So let's see here on our options. So in X we have ultrafiltration, correct. Then in Y we have reabsorption there. So Y reabsorption and Z osmoregulation. So the correct answer here is A. Correct answer for question 18 is A. Question 19. The diagram shows the human skin. So this is a human skin. What happens to the parts labeled N, M, N, and O on a cold day in order to regulate body temperature? So what happens to M, N, and O? So let's first identify these parts. So M shows blood vessels there. So those are some of the blood vessels which are there. Then N is the smooth muscle which is attached to the hair follicles. That is the hair follicle, and that is the smooth muscle there. And then we have a gland there, the sebaceous gland here, which secretes sweat. Okay, so on a cold day, what is going to happen? So on a cold day, our body would want to regulate body temperature. The body temperature must be regulated. We want to preserve the heat which is produced by our body because it is cold, to maintain the temperature. So what will happen is that the blood vessels beneath the skin there, they are going to constrict, reducing the blood flow to the skin. Why? Because if more blood flows to the skin in a cold day, we are going to have heat loss. We are going to lose that heat, and the temperature is going to be reduced, which is bad for our bodies. But if we constrict our vessels underneath the skin, there will be little blood which is going to flow on the skin there. Thereby, the heat, the lose or the heat which is going to be lost will be minimal. Why? Because we are going to have little blood flow there if we constrict. So on a cold day, we are expecting the blood vessels to constrict and the hair follicle there to be contracted, to stand. Okay, the hair follicles are going to stand. Okay, they are going to be, they won't fall, they will be firm on the skin. Why? Because when the hair there stands firm, what will happen? It is going to trap some air there on the skin, so that, because air acts as a bad conductor of heat, so as heat comes here, it won't be able to be lost easily, because we have a layer of air on our skin which is a bad conductor of heat. As a result, the heat is going to be preserved in the skin. That's why the hair should stand. So for the hair to be firm, this muscle which is here should contract. On a cold day, we need our vessels to constrict to reduce blood flow to the skin, and the hair to stand firm. So for it to stand firm, this muscle here, N, should contract. Then G, we have the sweat gland. So the sweat gland, you produce sweat when the heat, when it is hot. But when it is cold, no sweat is going to be produced. Okay, so we do not produce sweat, is not going to produce. So let's see our options here. So we have what happens to the parts labeled M, N, and O on a cold day in order to regulate the body temperature. So M should do what? M should constrict, as we have already said. M should constrict. Then from there, N should contract. So N is going to contract for the hair to stand firm, to trap a certain layer of air, which will act as a bad conductor. Okay, and then from there, O does not produce sweat. So in a cold day, we're not expecting production of sweat. Sweat is produced when it is hot. So the correct answer here is A. Constrict, contract, and does not produce sweat. Question 19. That is question 19. The correct answer is A. Question 20. So question 20. The diagram shows glands of the endocrine system. This diagram here is showing glands of the endocrine system. So the question continues to say, what is the name and function of the hormone produced? The function of the hormone produced in the structure labeled W. So that is W there. So this is W. It is pointing at that gland there. So what is the name and function of the hormone produced by that gland? So this is the thyroid gland. Okay, that is the thyroid gland. It produces what we call thyroxine, which is involved in regulation of metabolic rate of the body. So the correct answer is D. Is the thyroxine is the hormone. Function, it regulates metabolic rate of the body. Question 20, correct answer is D. Question 21. The diagram shows a section of the human brain. Which of the labeled part is responsible for reasoning? So these are the labeled part of the brain. So we have the cerebrum there, the cerebellum, the pituitary gland, and the medulla oblongata. So the function of the pituitary gland, it regulates production of hormones in the body. This one, it is involved in balance, coordination, and regulation of balance. Then the medulla oblongata is responsible for heart rate, blood pressure, and breathing. Now the cerebrum is responsible for reasoning. Okay, so the correct answer is A. That cerebrum is involved in reasoning. 22. Deafness can best be prevented by A. Cleaning ears regularly with hard materials. B. Cleaning ears regularly with soft materials. C. Listening to loud music regularly. And D. Listening to soft music regularly. So in order to prevent deafness, one should clean ears regularly with a soft material, not a hard material, because in the ear we have a membrane there which is called the eardrum. So this membrane is not that strong. So if you use a hard material to clean it, what will happen is that it is going to break. So when it breaks, that will result in deafness. Okay, and when you listen to loud music, this membrane vibrates as sound gets inside the ear. So when you listen to loud music, that membrane, the eardrum, is going to vibrate more and more. As a result, that can cause it can break due to the pressure, okay, of the sound, loud sound. But the best answer here is to clean the ears regularly with soft material. So when you clean the ear, there is wax which accumulates here. So if that wax accumulates excessively, it can block the ear, which can also lead to deafness. But if you clean your ears regularly with a soft material, then you are reducing that wax which is there. Okay, so the correct answer here is B. That is the best answer for question 22. So we move on to question 23. Question 23 reads, which of the following correct compares a ball and socket joint and a hinge joint? So we are comparing the ball and socket joint to a hinge joint. What is a socket and ball and socket joint? What is a hinge joint? So a hinge joint is a joint which only allows movement in one plane. So, for example, the elbow joint. So the elbow joint is going to allow movement only in this plane. Only. The hand can't move in this direction here on this joint. It can only move in that direction. So that is an example of a hinge joint. But for a ball and socket joint, it allows movement in all the directions. So we have a socket here, then we have a ball which inserts in that socket, in this socket here. So the movement can go in any direction because we have a ball here and a socket, so it can rotate in any direction. That is a ball and socket. An example, we have a hip joint is a ball and socket joint. So an example, which of the following correctly compares the ball and socket joint? We have said ball and socket joint allows movement in all direction or in all planes. Then hinge joint only allows movement in one plane. So the correct answer here is A. We move on to question 24. So question 24 reads, when light is switched on in a dark room where there are cockroaches, the cockroaches move away from light and quickly hide in dark places. This is an example of A, positive phototoxic, B, positive phototropism, C, negative phototoxic, and D, negative phototropism. So when you hear the word tropism, tropism involves plants, and taxis involves animals, okay, or insects in short. It involves the organism, movement of that organism, the whole organism from one place to another. Taxic. Then tropism, you are only moving a certain part of that organism, is moving towards that stimuli. So here we have cockroaches, and then when light is switched on, these cockroaches are moving away. They are not moving towards the lights. So we have light here, okay. Then we have these cockroaches which are moving away from the light. So light is pointing here, and then cockroaches are moving away. So that is negative. That is negative. It is moving away. So it will be negative. But now, is it phototropism or phototoxic? So have movement of the whole organism from this point to that point there. So this will be negative phototoxic. As I've already said, it is involved in insects and the whole organism is moving. That is toxic. Then if the part is moving, like in plants, that is phototropism. So here it is negative phototoxic. That is what is observed. So the correct answer for question 24 is C, negative phototoxic. Question 25. Question 25 reads, the diagram shows longitudinal section through a monocot seed. So this is a cross section in a monocot seed. Which labeled part is not present in a dicot seed? Okay, so we have monocot seed and dicot seed. So in this diagram, they are saying which labeled part is not found or present in a dicot seed. So the part which is not found in a dicot seed is A. A is not found in a dicot seed. So we have this diagram here. Okay, we have this diagram. This is a dicot and this is a monocot seed. So in a monocot seed, we have this part which is called the endosperm, this part here. It is not present in a dicot seed. Okay, all the parts are there. The radicle is there. It is in both the monocot and dicot. The cotyledon itself, it is also in both in dicot and monocot. Seed coat is also in monocot and in dicot, but the endosperm is not in a dicot seed, okay, which is A. This part here is not in dicot seed. So the correct answer for question 25 is A. A is not present in a dicot seed. So we move on to question 26. Question 26. The diagram shows stages of asexual reproduction in a yeast cell. So this is asexual reproduction in yeast cell. What type of asexual reproduction is illustrated in the diagram? So the type of asexual reproduction illustrated here is what we call binary fission, where I have the parent organism divides itself into two daughter cells. That is it, binary fission. And then budding. Budding is where we have the organism, like in this diagram here. The organism here develops what we call a bud, okay, a bud, that part there which is a bud. After that, that bud is going to grow bigger. After that, that bud is going to fall off. So it is going to fall there from the parent. It's going to break away from the parent and it becomes an organism, a daughter organism. But in binary fission, we have the same organism dividing into two to form new daughter cells which are all the same in size. This one is equal to that one. That is binary fission. Then fragmentation. Fragmentation, we have formation of fragments. We have the parent cell dividing or breaking. It is breaking into pieces. These pieces are called fragments. Then those fragments develop into daughter cells. That is fragmentation. Okay, that is fragmentation. And then from there, spore formation is simply forming a spore. Spore formation, we are forming spores. So the correct answer here is binary fission. This is binary fission. 27. Which of these plant parts can be used during vegetative production? So during vegetative production, which of these parts of a plant can be used? A, fruit, B, leaf bud, C, ovary, and D, seed. So to get this question correct, you must know what vegetative reproduction is. Vegetative reproduction is where you get a part of a plant, you cut a part of the plant, okay, you cut it and then you plant it. You plant it somewhere and that part grows into another plant. So that is what we call vegetative reproduction. It does not involve seeds. Anything to do with seeds are not involved. But when you look at these options, fruit, in a fruit we have seeds, so that is not vegetative reproduction. In ovaries we have seeds, okay? And then seed itself is not involved in vegetative reproduction. So we use, for example, a leaf, which is part of a plant, leaf bud, part of the plant. You plant it, then it becomes another plant. That is vegetative reproduction. So the correct answer for question 27 is B. B is the correct answer. Question 28. Question 28 reads, the diagram shows a longitudinal section of a flower. This is a longitudinal section of a flower. Which parts will continue growing after fertilization has taken place? So we have the male part, which is number 1. Then number 2, this is a sepal, which only holds the colored petals there. Then we have 4, which shows the ovum. Then 3, which shows the female part, which is the stigma. So the parts which will continue growing after fertilization are 3 and 4. The female part, which are the ovum when they are fertilized, and this part 3, which covers, okay, where the reproduction process takes place. So 3 and 4 are going to continue growing after fertilization has taken place. These other parts are just there for fertilization to take place. After fertilization has taken place, you see these flowers are going to, the colored part of the flower is going to fall off, and then these other parts also, the male part is going to be removed there, and what will remain is only 3 and 4 is going to remain. Question 29. So the correct answer for question 28 is D. Question 29. Which of the methods of seed or fruit dispersal carries the seeds the shortest distance? A. Animal. B. Self. C. Water. D. Wind. So which one among these options here carries the seeds the shortest? So in animal dispersal, we have an animal, a seed attaches to the animal, and the animal moves it to another place where it falls and it grows there. Under water, we have water as a vector. It carries that seed. We have seeds which cannot sink in water. So if they are going to be carried by water, then when it to a distance place where it is going to grow. Then in D, wind, where we see normally most of the time during wind will blow the seeds, and then from there those seeds are going to find themselves in other places. Now self, it is where now the seed falls from a plant. Okay, you have those plants which are involved in self dispersal. Okay, so the one which is going to carry the seeds the shortest is self, because self, we are going to have a seed, it's going to fall near the plant, but animal, water, and wind carries these seeds to a distance place. Okay, so the correct answer for question 29 is self. Self carries the seeds the shortest in seed dispersal. Question 30. The diagram shows the female reproductive system and its associated structures. So this diagram here shows a female reproductive system and its associated structures. So the question is, which labeled part identifies where implantation takes place? So we have the fallopian tube in A, we have the ovaries in B, we have the uterus in C, then we have the vagina in D. So where implantation occurs is in the uterus, which is C. So that structure there, that's where implantation is going to take place. That is the uterus. The correct answer there is C. Question 31. Question 31. So question 31. Okay. Question 31. Which of the following is not a cause of infertility in human beings? Which of the following is not a cause of infertility in human beings? We have A, alcoholism, B, blocked oviduct, C, ovulation disorder, and D, poor nutrition. So the one which is not a cause of infertility in human being is alcoholism. Alcoholism is not associated with infertility, but blocked oviduct. So if the oviduct, we have the ovaries this side, and then this is the oviduct. So if you block this part, the sperms which are coming from the vagina here won't be able to fertilize this ovum there. Then that will cause infertility. Ovulation disorders associated with the ovulation, where the release of the egg in female. If you have a disorder to do with ovulation, you can have infertility. Poor nutrition. So if you have poor nutrition, it can cause hormone imbalances in female and also low production of sperms in males. Poor nutrition can cause infertility. Okay, we have low sperm count. It can be caused by poor nutrition. Okay, the nutrients which are involved in formation of sperm and ovaries are poor, so that can cause infertility. But alcoholism is not a cause of infertility in human being. Question 32. Question 32. So question 32 reads, which method of birth control affects the normal functioning of hormones? A, contraceptive pills, B, condom, C, IUD, D, tubal ligation. So here, what method of birth control affects the normal function of hormones? So the one which affects the hormones here are the contraceptive pills. They work on the hormones, reducing the hormones which are involved in ovulation. So ovulation won't take place and then the person won't get pregnant. So the ones which affects normal function of the hormones are contraceptives. Correct answer here is A. Question 33. Question 33 reads, which stage of mitosis is illustrated in the diagram? So in this diagram, which stage of mitosis is illustrated? So the stage here which is illustrated is the telophase, where the cell now divides, breaks, separates the cytoplasm to form new daughter cells. So this is the last phase in the mitotic phase, in the mitotic process. So anaphase, metaphase, and the prophase, these are the early phases. So we have the prophase stage where the cell is preparing for cell division. We are going to see the chromosomes inside there. They are going to condense. We are going to see formation of other structures such as the spindles or the centrosomes are going to be formed during prophase. Then under metaphase, the cell is going to rearrange itself. We have the chromosome here. Then we are going to observe a structure like this, where we have the spindle fibers attaching themselves to the chromosome. Okay, these spindle fibers coming from the centrosome there, attaching to the chromosome like this. Then from there, after this process, we have the anaphase which is going to follow. So during anaphase, we are going to observe a structure like this. We are going to observe a structure like this, where now the chromosome has separated. The chromosome has separated here. Okay, and it has been pulled from the center there. That is under an anaphase. And then from anaphase, we are going to go to telophase, where now these chromosomes has already been pulled to the other sides, and now the cytoplasm is being separated to form two daughter cells. So this is telophase in this diagram there. So the correct answer is D. Question 34. Question 34. So question 34, two individuals who had normal skin color had a child who was an albino. What is the probability that they will have another child who is an albino? A, 0.25, B, 0.50, C, 0.60, D, 0.75. So what is the correct answer here? So we have two individuals who had normal skin color, but they had a child who was an albino. Okay, so this is under genetics. We have two individuals, so meaning they were carriers of a gene of albinism. So let's say a normal gene is A and a default gene is small letter a. So we have a normal gene and a small. So this is the genotype of the parents. Why? Because they were normal. They had a normal skin color, but they had a carrier. They were carriers of albinism. That's why they had a child who was an albino. So what is the probability that they will have another child who is an albino? So the probability, to find the probability, you need to come up with a genetic diagram where you have the genotypes here, and then from there you now show the possibilities, what can happen. Okay, so what will happen is that this gene, if it combines with that one, we are going to have a normal child who is going to be born, and then this one with this one, we are going to have another carrier child here. Then from there, if we have this one going with that one, we are going to have a carrier child. Then the same one, if it goes with that one, we are going to have another an albino child. Okay, so we have AA. So this is an albino. This person has all the genes of albinism, so meaning it's going to be an albino. But this one has a normal and an albino gene, so this one is a carrier. Okay, is normal but is carrying that gene of albinism. Okay, so the chance is 1 out of 4. Okay, so we are going to have 1 out of 4 because we only have one child of albinism. So take this into percentage, you multiply it with 100. So to multiply this with 100, we are going to have a 25%, which is 0.25. So the probability of them having another child, the child will be an albino, is 0.25. It is 1 out of 4, which is 0.25. The correct answer is A. Question 35. Question 35. So question 35 reads, which of the following lists of organisms consists of only vertebrates? So this question is not completed, but the option for D is the correct answer. The option for D has reptiles, we have mammals there, and we also have birds. Okay, so the vertebrates are those animals which has a backbone. They have a backbone. So reptiles, mammals, and birds have backbone. Those are vertebrates. Okay, that is the correct answer, D. Question 36. An experiment was carried out to investigate the drainage of 3 different types of soil samples X, Y, and Z. Same amount of each type of soil was placed in a funnel and same volume of water was poured into the funnel. The experiment was allowed to stand for an hour. The diagram shows results of the experiment. Okay, so what they did, they had these funnels here. They placed these funnels, and then they also put sand, different types of soil there, different type of soil on those in those funnels there. Then from there they poured the same amount of water, same volume of water in each of these funnels here, same amount of water. And then what happened now as a result is that the water which was collected here was this was the water which was collected, and then here we had more water collected. Here we only had little water which was collected after an hour. Okay, so the question is, which of the following identifies the different type of soil samples? Okay, which of the following identifies the different types of soil samples here? So here we had this sand which was placed there. So the sand which was placed here only allowed a little amount of water here, the minimum amount there, as compared to this one. So this one allowed only a few water there. Then here we had more water which filtrated in that soil, but here had the least, okay, the least amount of water here which was filtered. So the 3 different types of soil, we have clay soil, loam soil, and sand soil. So sand soil is going to allow a lot of water as observed in here, so this must be sand. Then this one should be loam. Loam soil only allows a little amount of water to be filtered there. That is loam soil. But clay soil is going to hold more water somewhere there. It won't allow a lot of water to be filtered. Okay, so this is clay, this is sand, then this is loam soil for X, and then Y is the sand soil because it allowed a lot of water, and clay soil allows little amount of water to be filtered. So the correct answer here is for X we have loam soil, then for Y we have sand. So the correct answer is C, loam soil, sand for Y, and clay soil for Z. Okay, so question 36, the correct answer is C. Question 37. Question 37. The figure shows a food web in a given ecosystem. Okay, so this is a food web in a given ecosystem. So the question reads, how many herbivores are there in this food web? How many herbivores? So herbivores, these are animals which feeds on green plants. Okay, they only feed on plants only. So in this food web here, the only animals or organisms which feeds on plants, which is cabbage. Cabbage is a plant, rabbit and grasshopper. So these two are feeding on cabbage. So those are herbivores. These are carnivores. Okay, these are carnivores which are feeding on herbivores. Okay, so the correct answer is 2. We have grasshopper and rabbit. These are the herbivores we have here. The herbivores, which is 2B. So the 7B is the correct answer. 38. The following are factors that can cause a change in human population except. So all of them can cause a change in human population except A, disease, B, earthquakes, C, immigration, D, number of species. So the correct answer here is number of species. Disease can cause human population change. Why? Because diseases, they kill people. When someone gets a disease, there is a chance that that person can die, and that can cause human population to change. Earthquake, where there is an earthquake, there is always deaths of people. People die during an earthquake. So that will cause human population change. Then immigration. If you move from one place to another, you are going to cause a change in human population. Where you are coming from, you are reducing the population. Where you are going, you are increasing the population. But number of species does not change the population there. So the correct answer here is except D, number of species. Question 39. The diagram shows the carbon cycle. This diagram is showing the carbon cycle. So the question is, which of the labeled processes removes carbon from the atmosphere? So we have green plants here, then we have carbon in the atmosphere. So green plants are going to use carbon dioxide. Okay, they're going to use carbon dioxide to produce what? Oxygen during photosynthesis. Carbon dioxide plus water is going to produce glucose plus oxygen. Okay, that is photosynthesis. So green plants, which is this process A, is going to reduce carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. So the correct answer here is A. A will reduce or will remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Question 40. Question 40 reads, what is the negative effect of overuse of fertilizer in a farmland near a stream? So we have a farmland which is near a stream. So now what is the negative effect of that? Having a farmland near the use of fertilizer in a farmland near a stream. So this farmer is using fertilizer in a farmland which is near the stream. So what will be the effect? A, acid rain formation. B, eutrophication. C, global warming. And D, we have soil erosion. So the correct answer here is B. Eutrophication is the effect of fertilizer to the stream. Okay, so what happens during eutrophication is this. What happens is that the fertilizer during rain season, during rainfall, is going to be taken into the water. Okay, the water which is coming from the rain is going to cause the fertilizer to go into the water, here. Now in the water, what will happen is that there will be nutrients such as nitrogen and phosphate, which are going to be deposited in the water, which are going to cause the death of algae. Algae is going to die because of the same enriched because of the phosphate and nitrogens which are going to be deposited in this water. Because of the minerals, the ions are going to be increased. So that will cause algae to die, and that algae is simply a green like structures which are observed especially in stagnant water. So that algae, when it dies, it is going to cover the water there, the layer, or it is going to cover on top there. So when it accumulates here, it is going to stop, to obstruct, or to cause the light won't be able to penetrate or to get into the what the into the pool there. So that will cause the same algae as well to die. Then from there, the fertilizers, the ions, when the ions accumulate, they are going to cause the fish to suffocate. Then the whole process is what we call eutrophication process, and is as a result mainly of fertilizers, the use of fertilizers near the stream. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like this video if I tell you like it, and subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, and leave your comment what you think about this video in the comment section below.